Alright, so let's move along, and we're gonna start to define the muscle groups just a little bit better over here. Again, I don't want to go too much. I really don't want to go too much on the muscle groups because there's no point, not really gonna see them, but it'd be nice to have some of them a bit more defined. So what I did there is just to squeeze in that area so that we can try to taper down where the bicep starts to end over there. Alright, so it's just gonna look through everyone over here, see how they are going about. Perhaps I'll just push this down a bit and move the edge down a bit here as well. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my split polygon tool, and I like to go ahead and define some of these areas over here, especially around the shoulder pad area here. So what I'm doing here, I'm cutting out a line, so probably want to end it there as well. Right, so those give me some extra vertices to move around to create like the shoulder area over there, or shoulder pad area over there. So I'm just gonna move them around just a bit, and then later on we're gonna start to clean it up just a bit better so that, you know, we won't have so much triangles and stuff like that going on. Alright, again, not too much, that might be a bit too much there, but the idea is just to taper everything, because these muscle groups, if you really want to, we're gonna go ahead into ZBrush and sculpt them. It'll be much easier to do that in ZBrush anyways. So I'm just trying to get it a bit more defined so that it's easier for us to see when we actually get into ZBrush. What I will do next is actually try to clean up some of these areas a bit better. So what I can do is draw a line across this way, and it will end there, rightly so, and we can start to get rid of some of this. Now instead of doing that, perhaps we just draw a line this way so that we can have everyone to be 4. And I'll move these faces a bit down, give it a bit more space. There's a lot of space at the bottom area here. So that's how we fix triangles to make it look more quads. Right, I'm just gonna use 3 just to see how it looks like. Again, not the best, but like I said, we want to have those areas a bit more defined when we bring it to ZBrush so that we can kind of see what's going on. Perhaps I want to spread out this area a bit more. So like I said, what I would do usually is to redraw the line instead of moving those vertices around. That saves me a ton of time, and I'll select the original one and delete it away. I'll go over here and try to fix some of these ones as well. So what I'll do is just to draw a line this way, same thing like how we did before, and that would solve the problem actually, because there's 2 triangles which is 3-sided, and you have 2 of them, so that makes 6. So all you have to do is add 2 more lines, which gets you 8, and then you divide it by 2, and therefore they become quads, if that makes sense. I'm not very good at maths. So let's put this down over there. So I'll just go ahead and soften the edges. Alright, so that kind of defines that shoulder pad area a bit better, and a good thing about this one as well is because I can start to use these faces over here and duplicate them so that I can start to create that armor plating over here as well later on when I want to do that. Alright, so let's see, I probably want to add another loop going around this way. Right, and once I do that, I just want to spread out some of these areas a bit more better. So let's go ahead and fix some of this. So again, these people are a bit too close to each other, so I'm just going to separate them out a bit better. Alright, and the reason why I want to put that in over there is when I press 3 I get or when we subdivide it we get a better crease line going on over there, so it's a nice sharp edge going on over there. Alright, so the next thing is I'm just going to move things around. Probably want to pop this out a bit just to show the bicep area there. And another important thing is that I just want to make sure that the elbow is showing as much as we can get it to show. So I'll probably squeeze this in just a bit more, and then I'll extrude it this way, make it smaller, and what I can do is start to push it out after that. And then I'll just scale it down, down, down. Right, then after that we can start to move some of this to make it a bit more circle-ish because it's too square. And again, this part will define the elbow areas over there. And this might be a bit too thick, so I'm just going to push that inside. So same goes for here. Again, soften the edges. Let's see how it looks like. Yeah, it's starting to define that area over there. Again, it's much easier to do this in ZBrush, which I will in the second series after we're done getting the basic models and stuff done over here. But I'm probably teaching you an old school way of doing it because I'll prefer it this way, where you get mid-mesh model done in Maya, and then after that you bring it to ZBrush to get the details and sculpt it out, and then after that you don't really have to deal so much in the retopology part there. Right, again, if a lot of these things are very new to you, I suggest you check out my Maya for Beginners video, where I explain a lot of the basic concepts with Maya. Right, so bring it back to 1 just to try to define this muscle group, the bicep, a bit better. Yes, I am very spending too much time with the biceps. A lot of guys would be envious to have those kind of biceps, I guess. Yep. Yeah, probably will end it about there. Not gonna spend too much time. Just want to get a nice shape going along, and that's pretty much what we have over here. Right. Just gonna check the shapes around a bit more. Some of these shapes are not exactly to size and not exactly to scale, so I'm just gonna move them a bit here and there. Lastly, might want to add another loop around here so that I can kind of use these vertices to pop up the chest a bit better. And these guys can go dive in like that. Yep, alright, now let's move along to the other parts of the body. Next thing I'll tackle is the leg area. So what I'm going to do is just going to push this down a bit more, and then we'll extrude it probably one more time, and then we can start to do the legs. I'll go ahead and scale this straight, and probably want to move some of this out into space. Alright, so the crotch area of this guy is probably somewhere here, so we're going to start to build a bridge around here. Alright, and then you will bridge up to the front and back, and then from there we'll create somewhat of a circle in between where we can use to drag out, similar like how we do for the arm over here. We need to kind of bridge the gap first, right? So this guy is going to be bridged to him. So let's go ahead and extrude one of them first. Right, and then I'll keep extruding until we kind of get a whole area over there. And I'll probably do it one more time, and then we can start to merge it to this guy. So press and hold V to snap it. Press and hold V to snap it over here as well. And we'll go ahead and merge them. So we'll merge this vertices over here. I'll press 3 to just check that there is a connection happening over there. Right, so you get somewhat of a hole over there, but it's a bit too square and stuff like that. So we kind of need to rotate it around, and because it's gonna come from an angle of some sort, so let's try to move them around and stuff. So let's say the crotch area is over there, but perhaps I'll just push it down a bit more. Yep, something like that. And it's important that the adjacent edge flows is similar to what we have. So since this is like a bit of a curve, this guy needs to be a bit of a curve as well, and then slowly it becomes straight. Right, so we don't want to have something that it needs to be like a transition where the other guys kind of become a curve as well, and slowly you get to see them become a bit more straighter and stuff like that. Right, so same goes for this guy. So that's how you want it to have eventual flow. Probably push some of these guys in. This guy's a bit too flat. He needs to push out because he has a butt going on over there. Let's push and pull some of these guys in and out. And this way it starts to have the leg area going on. Yep. Alright. So probably we'll go and rotate it just a bit more over here. So this is where we start to extrude the thighs, something like that. And probably I want to press R and try to squeeze in a bit. I won't go all the way first, just get a bit of it going there, and then I'll extrude it one more time, and this will go up to somewhere near the knees. Push this a bit forward so that it's easier when we do the rig later on, but we want it to be as forward as we can get it to be, and then it will extrude back this way, so it's easier for us to do a rig control for the legs since the knee is a bit bent forward. Alright, so a lot of adjustments to be done over here, especially this side over here. It's too wide, so I'm just going to narrow this a bit more, and the butt area needs to stand out a bit better, I guess. So does this front area here is too forward. Right, it needs to be squeezed in a bit more. Alright, let me go ahead and soften those. Right, so the idea is for it to go down and then get the rest of it here. Of course, there's a lot of areas I'm not liking this area here too much. It's not properly done. We need to go ahead and massage these areas a bit better, especially the butt area and the abdomen area over here. It needs to be pushed out much better. Oh, that's a bit too much. So probably what I'll do here is I'll take some of these edge loops this round and I'll squeeze it inside and try to get it straightened out a bit. to work on that a bit more, because it looks more like a feminine back than a masculine one, but we'll go ahead and change that. Another issue is that this guy here is a bit too far forward, so I'll just push it in. As well. Alright, let's start to get some of this, the backbones too slim, so let me just push out some of these areas a bit more, give it a bit more meat around those areas. And for the back as well, I think you can afford to give a bit more space here. Alright, so I'm just going to continue on getting the legs done. Just going to go down this way. Of course, should have more edge loops going on around each areas, and they need to be defined a bit better and stuff like that. I'll do that later on. But for now, I just want to get the basic volume and basic silhouette out done first. Soften those edges as well. Okay, so we'll get the basic shape over here. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to use a duplicate special, because I want to see how they look side by side with each other. Just to make sure everything is starting to do well and stuff like that. Probably want to extend this part a bit longer and stuff, because I think it's the hand is a bit too short. So we'll go ahead and position those kind of things, because in proportion the hand is a bit too short to the legs. So probably what I want to do is kind of expand this a bit more and push it down a bit better. Yep. Alright, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to do a duplicate special. So you go to edit, duplicate special option box. Now I want to make sure is this an instance and that our scale X is at -1. Right, so when we hit apply, we can actually just go ahead and move this guy to position. Now the cool thing about instance duplicate special is that wherever I move on one side, it goes to the other side as well. Alright, so it helps me to see the proportion of this guy is a bit better. Right, so let's just continue on editing this guy, moving some of these areas around and along the image plane that we have over here, the concept art that we have. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to start to work on the legs a bit better. So let me first expand this just a bit more and add in a few edge loops around here. Right, and I'm just going to expand some of these areas a bit better. And here I'm going to start to get the curve out over here, where we start to push out some of these vertices on the outside. And here I'll just scale this in where it starts to get the ankle going over here. This is where your shin and your knee is going to be somewhere over here. This is the back of the knee. Like I said earlier, I pushed this a bit forward just because I want to have a more biased look when it will help us when we do the rigging later on. Right here, here's the back of the thigh over here. Probably want to move out the back of the knee just a bit more. Right, so starting to get the legs and stuff like that in shape. Okay, they're starting to look a bit more masculine, a bit more to the desired shape that we would like it to be. Now here I'm just gonna mess around with this these vertices over here, just wanna make sure it aligns a bit better. Alright, so this part over here kinda looks a bit too big and the waist looks a bit too small. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to expand the waist out just a bit more. Right, and probably want to move some of these guys a bit inwards a bit better. Okay, great. Okay, so here comes the part where we start to analyze our character a bit more and start to see where we want to which are the areas that we want to have more details. Alright, so I got this basics body shape out right over here. Now the thing that I'm going to tackle first is actually the boot. As you can see, the blue part, it only ends somewhere to where the knee is. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of these faces over here and that's going to start the boots of this character, and then we're going to start to model in. We're going to get to the more detailed part, alright, and then we're going to work from the bottom up. So the reason why we did this first is so that it gives us a basic anatomy, a general shape of the body structure of this character over here. Alright, I'm totally ignoring the head for now. We'll use a separate piece to go and model that. Alright, and also the hands, I'm just going to use a separate piece later on to model that. Alright, so I'm just going to work from the bottom up. Now let's start from somewhere around here. Alright, because the knee kind of ends there. I'm going to use this group of faces and I'm going to extract them. Right, so they are actually separate pieces. 1, 2 separate pieces over here. And as you notice, our instance is gone because Maya can't recognize what's going on if you have more than one instance happening. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to get the foot out first. Right, so just extrude this downwards this way, and we're gonna start to rotate it this way as well. Alright, so let's get some of these edges over here and we're gonna extrude it outwards this way. We'll push this up slightly. Right, so as you can see, this is where the foot is happening. That's what I'm starting to do over here. Right, so from here at the back over here, I'm going to take some of these edges from the back here. Yeah, probably those guys over there. And I'm just going to extrude them downwards. And I'll make sure this is aligned a bit better. And I'm going to extrude it one more time this way. Now I'm going to use a bit of my imagination over here because since you see the boot doesn't have a lot of details and stuff like that, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to draw a line from here where it will match up to this guy over here. Right, let's see where we can match it up. But I'll just match it up like this first, and I'll start to merge these vertices right over here and draw lines. And here we can start to fill the hole. Right, so this is a shortcut for my fill hole, and I'm going to start to move the vertices around. Right, same goes for this guy over here. Just going to move him this side, this way, and start merging some of these areas. And let's go and fill this hole. Right, so I know it looks a bit clumpy and stuff like that, so that means we need to go and start moving the vertices and edges around. That's what modeling is about. Right, so we kind of need to get a shape that is a bit more consistent with what a foot would look like. So a general shape of a foot will go this way around, where we have some kind of arc going in over here. If you just look at your foot and shoes that you wear, there will be some kind of arc towards the inside of your foot, which is over here, and it will spread out this way. Alright, so that's the desired shape that we're trying to achieve. I probably made a mistake with this one. Let's see how we can fix this. These two guys should go all the way around, so that means this guy should be extruded all the way here outways and will be merged together with this one. Yep, and let me just delete this for now, and let's go and merge these vertices. It's pressing 3 to check whether everything is alright. There's a hole here, of course we need to fill the hole. Alright, then we can start continuing our modeling. Again, there's a lot of space over here, and what I would usually like to do is I just try to draw out a line and I'll delete that edge over there. Alright, so let's go to our image plane where we can start to see some of these things a bit better and start moving them around such. Probably can expand this guy a bit more to this side. Again, it's not extremely essential for me to get everything proportionally right for now, because I'll be going to ZBrush later on and start to fix some of these areas, a lot of these areas better, so that it will look much nicer and much more like a production model. Alright, so what I'm going to do at the bottom over here, I'm just going to fill the hole, and we're going to use our split ring tool, or at least they used to call it split ring tool, or multi-cut tool. I don't know, they keep changing the names so many times. So basically this tool that cuts stuff, I'm going to use that, and I'm going to build out the line. Alright, again I'm going to just move the foot and stuff all the way around and make sure everything lines up. I think the foot can be bigger overall, so I'm just going to expand it just a bit better over here. And again, it doesn't have to match up with our image plane exactly, it's just something that as an artist you see the proportion or something that's off or wrong, and you kind of react to it and adjust to it accordingly. So I saw the foot to be a bit too small to kind of carry the weight of this very strong warrior that we have over here, so therefore I went to expand those legs bigger. So I think this can be a bit more straightforward, so I'll just push it out that way and delete the edges, and I'm just gonna go and soften my edge. Alright, so we're done with the legs. Alright, we're not done actually, at least we got the basic shape out. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start to add more details over here, those ropes and stuff like that, and I'm gonna start to add at least some of it over here, and then later on when we go to ZBrush we can add the more finer details. Okay, so we're going to start with the boot for now. Again, I'm going to use a bit of imagination over here, and I'm going to look at references to get a much more desired look for this boot and leg strappings that we have over here. So first off, perhaps I'll work from over here. What I want to do is kind of flatten this guy just a bit first, right? And then we'll start to use this group of vertices to push him up. And this guy's over here, what I would like to have is for him to kind of go down a bit more, right? Something like that for now. Right, so the idea is that for me to make sure this line is a bit more straighter first, so that we can kind of separate it out. So I'll go ahead and use my split polygon tool, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add two edges around there and one more edge in between. And these two edges, what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze them in by scaling them in. Alright, so that helps to create the detail a bit better. Just push it up a bit more, and this guy can go down and a bit closer to what we originally have. Alright, so if I press 3 on him, we can get that nice shape going around over there. Alright, so if I press 3 again, as you can see, some of these areas are just a bit too smooth, and they need more mesh, more meat all around. So I'm gonna add a few more edge loops around this sector over here so that it can hold its integrity a bit better. Like I said, now is the part where we're starting to get the details of this model out, and things are starting to take shape a bit better. Just gonna move this guy in a bit and push some of this inside. Alright, so probably want to try to add a loop this way around, but the problem with this is that it goes all the way that way. I just want it to go this way. So what we can do is, once that loop is created, I'll just go ahead and draw a bit of a triangle line over here. Right, and I'll delete away these two. Alright, and how we did for the hand as well, because there are two triangles over here, we can make both of them quads. Alright, so it just turned 2018 over here, so therefore a lot of people are starting to celebrate New Year, but we're gonna do Maya throughout, and I'm just going to get these shoes to be a bit more pointed out. Right, that way we can have a bit more of a stylized look to our character. I'm just gonna press 3, and yeah, this is okay for now. Like I said, I'm going to go into ZBrush and make sure things line up a bit better. So what I want to do also is probably I want to add one more line across this way, and I can start to, if I press 3, start to move some of this around a bit better. Let's select this correctly. Nope, I did not do that properly. Let me do that again from the correct side. Yeah, that's much better. Alright, so this line's a bit too close. Again, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and spread them out a bit better using this technique I have, and deleting this away. Again, we'll add some of this way, and I'll delete these guys as well. And again, the idea is just to make sure everything lines out a bit better. Alright, so that's alright. Now what I'm gonna do is start to expand some of this, make it a bit more muscular on some of the areas here. And what I'll do is I'll select these vertices at the front here and just want to expand some of them out more. Yep, something like that will work for now. Alright, so moving along, I want to extract these guys over here. Okay, because this one is going to be like a cloth hanging towards or being tucked inside this part here. Just push it up slightly and I'll just extrude them and push them in and inside this way, so I can kind of push out a bit, and we'll add a few lines across here, just to get that illusion of some kind of cloth that tucks inwards. Right, again, I'm not having too much of this because later on, like I said, we're gonna go to ZBrush and start to get these details out a bit better. Right, that kind of works for now. Let me just go ahead and use some of these faces here and just push and pull them around, and probably want to add a few more subdivisions along this way. Again, I'm not too worried about how the wrinkles of this thing look. I just want to have just a bit. Alright, again, just so that we can bring this to ZBrush and have a better idea of how to sculpt the wrinkles better on later in the next series. What I want to do as well is to kind of rotate and randomize some of these cloth thingy that they have over here. Alright, it looks a bit better. We'll fix some of these areas in ZBrush later on. Now the next part is I want to start to create some of these strings or whatever you call it, which ties all around this shin guard. I believe he's wearing a shin guard. Yeah, let's start to do that next. Alright, so we're going to continue with the legs over here. So before that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some extra lines right over here at the bottom, right, just to give that mesh a bit of a stronger crease at the bottom there. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move some of these vertices around just a bit more, just to make the shape of the shoe or boot a bit more convincing. Okay, great. Now I'm going to show you well, it's not exactly a new trick, but some of a new technique that I would usually use from 2017 onwards. The cool thing is that over here at the top right hand corner you see there's this thing called workspace, and right now we're at Maya Classic. Now we can go towards modeling standard. Right now what happens, the toolkit starts to appear over here. Our modeling toolkit over here starts to appear, and some of the tools that we have over here is similar to what we see right on top over here. Now what I'm gonna do is, first of all, I'm gonna make this object over here live. So I'll just click here, make the selected object live, and what I can do is I can go ahead and press shift and right click, and I get my quad draw tool available. Right, so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create these lines or these strings, I guess what you call them, that we have in the concept art, and I'm trying to use the quad draw to do that. So the idea of the quad draw and how it works is you just have to draw the quads first of what we want, and then we can just press shift and left click to get that thing filled. Right, so I can go ahead and draw again over here. So you see the idea how it works is you just have to draw the line and it gets filled like that. Alright, so what I want to do is, let me just undo this quite a bit. Right, so what I want to do instead is to draw the lines that we actually need from an angle that we can see this a bit better. So let's have our, let's have our X written on for this, and let's try to draw this from a proper angle. Right, so I'm just gonna start to draw this all the way around up to here, and then I'm just going to make sure that every dot has a corresponding one that's connected to it. Alright, so once I'm done with this part here, I'll press shift and I'll just drag, left click and drag all the way to get these lines sorted out. Alright, so that part of the line is done, so I'll just press enter for that. Alright, so I'm gonna continue on to do the other parts. Right, so continue to create our quad draw, and I'll just keep this line over here and I'm just gonna draw from this way onwards. Alright, I'm just gonna have it something like that for now, and we'll draw this all the way across. Alright, we'll just end it like that for now, and then after that I'll go ahead and fix some of these areas over here. First of all, just going to make sure that this guy is a bit bigger, and I'll start to fix them up. Probably have to delete that one away, and this guy's, it might be just easier to do it this way, and I will extrude this forward and start to merge some of these areas where we need it to be merged. Alright, so that's the idea where the thing is ready. Now let me just get out of my live object mode there, and probably want to scale this back in just a bit. From here I can start to adjust this mesh that I just did. Start to move some of these guys around. So as I mentioned, this will be that part of the mesh, and we'll just probably add 1 or 2 lines over here as well. Alright, so that part's done. I'll take my faces over here and extrude them inwards. Probably want to reverse the normals as well. Which is this guy's over here. And probably want to add a few loops around some of these areas as well. again, just to get that visual noise going, to represent what this thing really is. And then you see some of these areas where it's too tucked in, we just have to pull them out. So take your time to adjust this. It'll be a bit more delicate, I guess. I mean, that's what modeling is about anyways. So take your own time to go ahead and adjust some of these areas over here. Sometimes when you really smooth it out and you still see some gaps over here, so go ahead and adjust them accordingly, then we should be fine.